Okay, today we're going to do a little tutorial about how to get the replace the bearings on this fan. There's actually two bearings up there and there's one down here. I haven't done that one yet. I don't know if that one's going to be accessible, but let's take a look. First, we've ordered new bearings. Let's see if they've come in. 20354s, I think. It's going to be it. 348. Okay, that's one bearing. Okay, while we're doing the bearings, we might as well replace the fan. I bought two new fan belts, two new filters, more bearings. Wow. I'm redoing all the front drive bearings for a few vehicles. Oh, and new front brakes. Let me know if you want a video on the front brakes, but they're very easy. You just pop them in pretty much. More bearings, wow. Okay, so our first step is to remove every Phillips head screw. There's 3, 6, and then there's about a million other screws, and then there's even hidden bolts on the back side that come in. So let's get these visible ones off first. Okay, I've got all the screws off. Now I have to just kind of wiggle this thing out. I might have to take the fender off, but let me see. And there's a bunch of all the screws appear to be the same length, and they will all have a dowel with a rubber gasket on the top. So we'll just keep all those parts. So let me now try and figure out how to get this out. Okay, going down worked. There's our gasket. The rest of the dowel pins came out while it was coming off. Okay, now we're going to start right here on the scalp. Okay, it is a 24 millimeter and is not reverse threaded. And then now we can remove, let's keep an order of everything. Lock washer. These are the extra spacers from, no, this is just a washer. There's a bolt, and we have put them exactly the same way we took them off. And then we have a key. See everything. Here are the spacers used to tighten or loosen the belt, and they all ride on that key. Let this key flying off on the other side of the room. And there's this cone. Needs to go below everything. And we can pull this belt off and inspect it. It is the original belt, and it looks in great shape still. But we went ahead and bought a new one, so we'll keep that as a spare. Here we see all the debris inside. See if we can get light. Come on, light. There we go. Oh, yeah. Listen to all that noise. It's almost like a staticky grinding noise. So that's garbage. But it goes out that way. So we have to remove these bolts. Here, yada yada. A few Phillips screws there, way up on top. And then it'll look like you're done, but on the back side going in is 1, 2, and 3 bolts, and they're hard to reach. And then our next challenge, and this is a separate unit down here, but our next challenge will then be, there are 2 guide dowels right here that are sticking and they're going to fight us. So we have to kind of tap it with a hammer and pry it and wiggle it back and forth to get those dowels out. And then the fan will come right out. Okay, so let's work on these right here. These, look, what do we think those are? 10s, 10 millimeters. And then we're going to do our 2 Phillips. Oh yes, I have confirmed this is a 10 millimeter, and there are 4 of them. They're all the same length, so you can set them down and not worry about it. Now we're going to get in with the long Phillips and get those guys. Okay, the first one was not seized. That was good. Let's see if we can break the top one. All right, not seized either. All right, let me get those out. Okay, these screws are the same length. You do not have to worry about them. Just set those aside. Now we have to do some janky stuff where I have to crawl and put my head down here and look up, and with a 10 millimeter, here's one of them. You can see its tail end sticking out right there. We have to unscrew those bolts. Let me get in position for that. Okay, this is my plan. This is lovely, isn't it? Okay. Oh, I hope I bust my knuckles like I usually do. Okay, first one's free. This, another one's down here at the bottom. Right above the starters where we're at. That one's free. Got one up here at the top of the fan. Let me zoom out for you. They're all 10 millimeters. They require a short shallow socket. That one came off. Okay, good. Nothing was stuck. Now let me get those out and then we'll catch up. Okay, I got all 3 of the bolts out. That's what they look like. Now for this next part, these are all the tools that I've assembled. We've got 2 pry bars, a soft blow, another soft blow, and if I really can't figure it out, I've got I got Poppy. The last time I've done this, this was my pry point right here, and here, because this is where our dowels are. But let's just try it with nothing. Oh wow, this one's actually. Huh. Thank you. There's those 2 metal dowels. Wow, that was. I can put all my tools back up. The last one fought me. Look, it's an Asian part, and voila, there we go, guys. Look, oh, listen to that. The last one that I replaced, the whole front side had sheared off, and there was like 1 or 2 ball bearings left in it. So the trick here for this, let's get a shot of what everything looks like. Something you don't see every day. There's our spark plug. That's the tube that goes. Oh, so that's interesting. I always thought, I was like, man, it seems like it's pulling hot air from the engine down on there, but no, it's not. This is, the fan is going to put cold air right down to there, and that pipe will run through this your lower plate, and it's going to bring cool air right on your oil sump. Which is why it's so important to always keep that skid plate on there, because that's an important part of your cooling. And then this is an opportunity to blow this out, because if that has any rat's nest or mud clumps in here, those are all things that are going to hurt your ability to cool. Okay, so I'll vacuum that out, but we're done with that. Let's go straight to this. So this part right here, I forgot what I did last time. You grab a socket. Let's do it live. we're gonna need to hammer something through there. So find an old beat up one of these that you've already hammered on a million times. Let's do this one. And that gold ring in there will move ever so slightly out of the way, revealing the bearing below. And then we're just going to whack on it with a hammer, and hopefully a few blows and it'll come right out. This might be too big. I might move back to the other one. See how the gold ring is, see how I've just pushed it out the way? Right there. That silver surface on the bottom, that's what we're going to put this up against, and we're going to hammer onto it. So now that I've got that moved, place this down in there. Yeah, this, I need a smaller one. Okay, I actually found some punches. Maybe we'll try one of these. See how you're able to move that collar around. Look at how I'm able to expose any area of that bearing that I want. So we're going to put that right onto there, and we're going to hit it real hard with the hammer. And I gotta set the camera down for this probably. Okay, so I'm rotating. You hit bang bang, move to the opposite side, bang bang, move a little bit up, bang bang, move down, bang bang. I hit it a few times. Here it is, it's working its way out. I'm gonna keep doing that. Here's my attempt at one-handing it. There it is. Look, our back wall has come off. Okay, and we have one more to do now. Now it's a little bit easier because the center dowel can come out. And then we flip it over. And now we just hit anywhere onto that. Like right there. Now I can probably move to a bigger punch now. I saw that I had one right here. I'm going to set the camera down for that. Okay, boom, it's out. So now we're just all reassembling. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean every bit of this up, really make the surfaces. Oh man, look how nasty. Look at the one that was out versus the one that was good. You see, that one had all the dirt contamination and all the heat, and then the other one that was a little bit better had was still clean. So we're going to clean all that out, then we'll get ready for the bearings. Give me a few minutes to clean this. Okay, not only have I cleaned this piece up, that was the inner guide, I've also cleaned up all the interior surfaces. And look at that, look at those, look at that gouge right in there. I don't know what that's all about. And then also let's clean this right here, because all that's going to go through it. So make sure that shaft is really spotless. And then we're just going to grab our grease, and we're going to soak everything. Where's my bearing? Oh, there's my bearings. All these inner surfaces and down the inner shaft, and this thing gets covered in grease. Okay, we've got everything greased. We're going to eliminate some of the grease on the end because that could get onto the belt. Let's go ahead and pull out our bearings. Again, the number is 93306-20348. They are already greased. I'm not going to open. Sometimes you can pop open these side covers with a pick and add more grease to them. We're going to assume that they are factory sealed, greased, and then we're going to begin to hammer. Let me open these up and get ready. Okay, we've got a bearing on there. Now we need to tap it in. So you just find a socket that it matches the outer rim of that, just like that. Actually, I could probably go for a smaller one. And we're going to grab Big Bertha, and we're going to work our way around. I got to do it with two hands though, so I got to set the camera down. Okay, we've got her seated. Now when we flip it over, we cannot forget that we have to put this in, because if you start tapping those in and you forgot, oh, there's a piece of dirt on it. Here it is. So that has to go in next, because if you forget that, you have to probably ruin the bearing to pull it back out. Okay, now we can push in the last bearing, and then we'll put the fan on, and then everything gets bolted back up. Okay, that bearing was tapped in. I used a bounce between a 29 and 28 socket on a Tecton that reached the outer Okay, so now the dowels, oh, dowel just fell out. Make sure the dowels are clean. Reinsert those. And then that's the inside with the dowels. So that means we are ready for our fan. Now let's clean up all of that, because that will get into the fan belt and in between the pulley and could create a slippage. And the slippage of the pulley means no heat, or I mean, excuse me, overheating. Okay, was there any washers on that side? I guess there was no washer on that pulley fan. Okay, we'll put it back in first. Actually, we'll clean that. I'm gonna clean that out, and then we'll put that back on, and then we'll reassemble all the bits and pieces. So let me hit that up with a vacuum and an air compressor, and then we'll go with the install. I'm gonna blow out all those. I've already vacuumed up. Let's blow out all these channels to make sure there's no nests in there. Okay, now we have to, fan goes toward there, dowels go toward there. And now let's see if I can do this one-handed with everybody watching me. Oh wait, it's got a weird, you know, what? Oh, there it is. This is the angle. Okay. Okay. All right. It's I gotta quickly put these bolts in and tighten them up. I don't have a torque rating off the top of my head for these, but we're just gonna go snug and then a quarter past. I've got those 4 in. Now we're doing our 2 Phillips heads. Uh-oh. Here's where the problem is these bolts right here. Hopefully we don't have this problem, but the shroud behind it that is threading through it, it can move, so you have to push it with one hand, then put this bolt through, and it's a pain in the butt. But let's just try it right now. We're gonna go into that hole right there. Yeah, it's definitely two hand job. Okay, let me work on that, and then we'll check back in. But we got our 4 bolts here and our 2 Phillip heads. Okay, I've moved to the front side. Give you a little bit of shot of what we're doing here. Here's the back side of the fan, and here's what we're trying to go through. And this thing has to be aligned with that. And I want to say, last time I had to do this, there's a bolt right here that holds this whole mechanism on. If you loosen that up, you can be able to pivot. But we're going to try and just fight our way first. But there's 1, 2, and 3. So if I can't get these on, I'm going to loosen this bolt right here above the starter, and it holds this on, and then we'll wiggle it in. So let me work on that. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Everything went in good. This one I had to grab up here and pull it, and then that one came in. This one needed to push back, so I pushed here. That one went in, and of course that one fought me a little bit too. But that took 3 minutes. The last time I did this, it took 45 minutes. Okay, now let's go back to the front. We can begin to reassemble everything. Let's take our nest. Let's go to our bottom piece. Now, of course, everything's gotten re-dirty again while it's sitting here in the wind. So we'll clean this up as we reinstall. Actually, let me clean this up off. Okay, I've added a thin layer of grease back onto that spot. Let's turn our fan so we can see our groove for the lock key, or whatever key that is. Allen. So let's put that on first. And of course, this fan will still move in and out. So as you're doing this, if it tries to push itself in, just grab it and yank it back out. I think we're ready for our key. Okay, and then Working backwards. We're going to go ahead and put all 3 of our washers back in because that is the default setting. This gives more space on the inside because the new belt will be thicker and not worn. I'm just kind of cleaning as we go. And do we need to put the belt on first? I don't know. We probably should put the... Okay, we're just going to assemble it loosely because the... we need to get the belt in there. We got the big nut. Then it came with a washer. And it came with a lock washer. And then it came with this piece. I think that's how it went on. Somebody correct me if I screwed that up. Wow, it's quiet. Not a peep. So now the last step is put the rope on and then be done. But there's a bearing in here somewhere, but I don't know if it's on this outside or if it's behind this wall. And this literally turns the engine here. There's the compression. Let me take a look at that because maybe we can do that. Well, we're not going to take this apart today. There's an oil seal back there. I have one ordered, and I just tore apart my whole garage looking at every seal I have, and it's not here. I don't know where the hell it could be. And I might have to drain. Look, I got everything ready for it. I got pulled off everything. I got the in case the oil comes out or I need to drain the engine oil. I'm ready for it. I was about to put a puller on there, and then I was like, well, let me check the part diagram, and there is a oil seal in front of the bearing, and I've ordered it. It shows it was delivered. I found the other items that were in that delivery, but not the item. So, oh well. And it sucks because look how close we are. Anyway, so we're not gonna do that. So now we're gonna put it on our new belt, which is gonna fight us because it'll be so tight. Let's grab that new belt. Ooh, brand new. Wow. Mitsubishi. Alright, I have to reassemble all this. Hold on. Okay, I've hooked the backside. So to get this top in, even if I squeeze it, I won't be able to... Actually, I could probably round it around there. Let me try and put it there and just spin it. Otherwise, I'll just take this mechanism off, sandwich it in there, and then tighten it. Let me see which way works best. Okay, I did the trick where I just kind of wedged it on there, and then I put this on here, and as I turned it, the belt... Oh, I'm sorry. I put this on here, and as I was turning this, the belt flopped over it. But if that doesn't work for you, then you just have to put it on at the same time. But I think that's more of a fight. This worked out quite well. So now I need to torque all that down real quick. Yeah, it's a lot quieter. Although there's still a noise coming from that one. So I'm gonna reorder that stuff. But man, that grinding noise is gone. There's still a clunk from that one. Okay, let's re-put the fan shroud on. Then so the seal wants to push in and locks over this because there's a groove on the inside. But it's hard to do because it's shrunk over the years. So let's make sure that our seal fully is pressed in real quick. And I already forgot how this came off. I think I pulled it down. So now I get to do this janky wiggling game. I'm gonna do it off camera to get that back in there. Something like that. Okay, yeah, I got it. You pull this back and it just comes up from the bottom. So here's the orientation of the screws. You get that little rubber washer and then the dowel, the guide. And then that's it, man. We are done. We have replaced our bearings. And I don't know anybody who doesn't have a rattling fan. They are all, that service needs to be done. And once I get this one in, this should be easy because I just take these screws off in the plastic cover and then I can go straight to town on that. So I'll order that part and we'll make another video on that one. But I honestly don't think they shipped it to me. I think because I ordered some hoses too. The little hose that goes from the vent for the fuel cap, and I don't see those anywhere as well. Well, this wraps up our installation of 2 new bearings for the cooling fan. Hope everybody's enjoyed that. Hope you realized that it's an easy job. And if I wasn't filming, I could probably have done this in less than an hour. But I had to wash my hands like every 2 seconds when you're doing that grease because I'm always having to pick the phone back up, and I don't want the phone covered in that grease. Now, one thing I screwed up on is I did not torque to torque spec on anything, but I made them quite snug, and torque ratings are in the manual somewhere, but that's okay. I'm just gonna watch it. Now, on one of mine, I did have a horrible rattling noise. And I was like, what is that? I was like, this thing must be going to pieces. And I took this fan straight off, and one of the long bolts the 4 bolts was in here. It had fallen off and was rattling around in here, and every time the belt would hit it, it would just spin around. So here is the old bearings. They didn't have, this has just a little bit of the rubber wall still left, but the rubber walls were eaten up. Okay, let's do an audio test so you can hear it. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's lovely. And you have to rewind to the beginning of the video to hear that other sound. I won't be satisfied until that one's replaced as well. I've ordered a new, my choke ring is missing, so it just falls down in there, so I've ordered a new one. Here's a quick few mods that I've done on this one. It actually came with that light bar, which is insanely bright. Added this coal pin rack, just because the rails are worthless. You can't put anything on it. I also added these little light switches, or power command switches. And then I've got phone USB charging ports. I don't have any accessories plugged into those yet. I'm thinking maybe spotlights on the rear. And then it came with a cigarette lighter. And I put this old vintage police spotlight on there. Thought that was fun. It's just cigarette lighted, plugged in. And then I just added this yesterday. It's the soft case. It's held together with like those little boxes of metal rings. And it's held on by just straps, but it's got handles for a rear passenger, cushioned seat, which is not very good because this bar right here is quite I have another cushion I'll probably just roll down. And then I also did a breaker switch just in case I have a battery draw, which my winches apparently do. Oh, and that would be a battery draw too, because if this is on, the LEDs are lit, and if I break that, because I could see that being a battery draw. Oh, and then I added just a little cup holder from Walmart in the fishing aisle, right in your boat section. Oh, what else have I done to this one? This one has a new clutch cable, and holy smokes, is it smooth. And this has a lot of wobble play. I'm wondering if I can just put some washers in there to close that up. But I think this is the most important accessory, is a front rack, just so you can carry some stuff. Look at all these. These are all future projects, future seals and everything, but I could not find the seals that I needed. There's a whole box of bearings down in there. Okay, so where are we at? Oh, the mods. This one is only really missing. Oh, this one needs a new parking brake cable for this, because it's so, when I did the brakes on it, the brake drum wouldn't go back on. It was too tight. And then I realized the parking brake cable was seized in the locked position, which swings out this little arm, which expands the shoes. So I had to hammer the freaking cord back in, or sorry, pull the cord back out, which released the tension. So right now I'm too afraid to turn on the handbrake, because it might lock that wheel back up again. So that one has all new a new wheel cylinder, new pads, new shoes, and I was able to salvage the old rusty worn parts. This brake mechanism on this side was immaculate. Of course, now the pads don't match because that one's new and these are old, but they do have an adjuster, but it needs to be adjusted more, or it needs to be replaced. I've got all new shoes on the front. This one is so worn, I've even maxed out all the maxed you screw in that screw, you screw in that screw, but look, it's maxed out. There's actually a second spring right here, and it is completely maxed out. And here is your gauge right here. There's a little dot there and a little dot here. As you squeeze the calipers, if it moves all the way to that second dot, that means your brakes have need to be replaced, and they do. And that's what's right here somewhere. There's a left side and a front side. I think they're the same. And and then one of the bearings over there was ratchety, so I got new wheel bearings. That's it for this one. This one was pretty garbagey when I picked it up, but it didn't smoke, and so I was like, okay, we have potential. So I'm dolling this one up as my trail rig for the ranch for cruise rides, and then I'm dolling up my other ones as workhorses. I'm going to put a chainsaw mount on one of them, and not one of these again, because the work one will have a bunch of oil stuff, and I don't want to mix oil with soft bags. I've eliminated all the safeties as well, so this will start right up. And one safety that I did was I removed this clutch safety pin, and it quick connects down there, so now I don't have to hold the clutch. It just frees up an extra hand. And then I also did another mod where I removed the pin that goes in here to lock it, so now it easily moves back and forth. Now you have to keep the pin in this one because it will need to lock in the high position. That's it. Okay, so I'm getting sidetracked. That was a tutorial on the bearings for that fan. Half the bearings. I'll make another one for that. But it was really easy. You just have to make sure you got the grease. You got some punches. If you don't have a punch, you could use an extension. And that was it. And it was a 19 millimeter there, and a 17 millimeter on the other one, and 10 millimeters on the back. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Sorry this video took so long. Happy Yamaha Terraproing. Keep these things alive. We gotta stick together. You know, it's just us working on these things. If you have any questions or comments or anything, just holler at me. Or if you found an error that I made, or if you want to post the torque values for me or something, just comment down below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the flip side.